Alright guys, welcome to the channel. It's Andrew for Life, and today we're going to talk about being fat and how that affects you, impacts you, and what kind of like stigma that has attached to it, okay? So, in America, it's pretty common knowledge that we're like a really fat country, right? A lot of people, we make jokes about it. Comedians talk about this stuff. It's in movies. Your average sitcom will portray a husband and wife where the husband's fat, the wife's like really good looking. This is like a common trope, a thing, it exists. And one of the things going on here is when you're fat, and especially in American society, you are seen as less than, you are seen as lazy, you are seen as someone who hasn't capitalized on opportunities, and someone who has let wastefulness like build up. So like whether that be your wasteful like expenditure of time, whether that be like your wasteful like it's just seen as like a humongous negative, especially if you're very fat, right? So if you're very fat, obese, large, whatever term, y'all are comfortable with, when you are extremely unhealthy due to your weight, people judge you, unconditionally, like so hard, in public especially. You'll get stares, you know what I mean? People will talk about you, people will make fun of you, and this kind of attitude is really bad for our society, okay? Why? Why is this so bad? Because it impacts people in a professional aspect, so it impacts their job opportunities. It impacts your ability to make friends and retain friends and keep friends. And it impacts your ability to date, get girlfriends, get boyfriends, get whatever you want. And there's a giant, like, umbrella over fat people always, right? Where somebody's gonna be judging you in the back of their head. They're gonna be, if they're fat phobic or they really hate fat people for some reason, they like really aren't gonna like you just because of your weight. Okay, and so this is some stuff that has been on my heart, my mind lately, heavily. So I'm gonna talk about it, but also I'm gonna minimize myself, and we're gonna kind of read some stuff, right? So, okay, let's do this. This comes from PubMed it's PubMed blah blah blah.gov. Yeah, if y'all can see that, I'm gonna leave the link in the description below for anyone who wants this information. But yeah, this seems to be some respectable journals and about like discussing being overweight, prejudice towards fat people, you know what I mean, the development and validation of the anti-fat attitudes test. So let's get into this, okay? So it says right here, although the stigma of obesity in our society is well documented, the measurement of anti-fat attitudes has been a difficult undertaking. 2 studies were conducted to construct and validate the anti-fat attitudes test, AFAT, and study 1 college students, 110 men and 175 women, completed the preliminary 54-item AFAT and specific indices of body image and weight-related concerns. Psychometric and factor analysis revealed a 47-item composite scale and 3 internally consistent factors that were uncorrelated with social desirability, social/character disparagement, physical/romantic unattractiveness, and weight control/blame. Several body image correlates of anti-fat prejudice were identified, and men expressed more negative attitudes than women. Study 2 experimentally examined the effects of information about the controllability of weight on the anti-fat attitudes of 120 participants. Exposure to information on behavioral versus biogenetic control led to greater blame of persons who are fat for their body size. The implications of the findings and the potential utility of the AFAT are discussed. So, basically, okay, so first of all, let's break this down, right? So, men, we're pieces of shit, right? So, we judge fat people harder for no reason other than the fact that we're just fucking like this, okay? And it's not necessarily that we're just pieces of shit, women rock, but I will say, I could see where men might be more, not might, I could see where men would be more judgmental about people's weight. I think there's like sort of maybe an spoken, unspoken cultural rule about being overweight, and your friends will constantly make remarks on it, make fun of you, especially if they're not overweight with you. You know what I mean? And this is like a very common thing that men get bullied for growing up in school, high school, middle school. And this is stuff that men will actually write off people for in job interviews for. Because they'll say, oh no, this person's overweight. There's no way they can come in here, do what needs to be done, be on top of everything, be a productive member of this company or whatever, while they're so behind on their physical health. Men really do think that way. And I'm not surprised to see men are leading this problem more so than women. I know you would probably think maybe from a objective stance, maybe women are harsher on each other. Well, I think that women talk shit about each other more than men talk shit about each other. But I think men talk intricate shit about each other when it comes to stupid topics like weight. And women don't go into as much of a rabbit hole. I could easily see all this. You know what I mean? Then it says, hold on. Okay. 110 men, 175 women. Well, I guess they use more women, so. Well, that's actually worse for the men. But ultimately, I was really wanting to touch on, what does it say? It decreases your social desirability. There. Social/character disparagement, physical and romantic unattractiveness, and weight control/blame. So, in society, your character is like at fault here for just being overweight. Okay, and what I kind of haven't gotten into that I wanted to, like, I guess, find a way to fit this in the video is being overweight is not always this lack of character, lack of motivation, and all these, like, assumptions that are being made and all the judgments people are passing on overweight and extremely overweight people, they're pretty much unfair a majority of the time, right? Because you don't just have people, it's not ever as simple as, oh, this guy eats a bunch of Doritos, right? It's like, and does nothing. It's like, okay, this person is got like a depressed, like they might be depressed, they might have anxiety about going out, they might have a lack of motivation due to a chemical imbalance. So there's like actual reasons why people are overweight and gain weight. I've lost and gained weight 4 or 5 times in my life. 4 or 5 major times. So lost and gained plus 200 pounds either way. And I'm starting to think, I might have an eating disorder. How many people have eating disorders? And then they're overweight. They don't even eat a lot. Their metabolism's so slow. Everything about their body stores all this belly fat. And then a job interviewer will look at them and be like, nah, screw them. They're fucking fat. I don't want to deal with it. It's like, hey, man, you don't even know what's happening with that person. You don't even know anything about that person, especially just because they're overweight. You really don't know shit. Because there's all sorts of medical, like, reasons, anomalies, all sorts of psychological reasons, anomalies, all sorts of physical reasons, anomalies that are verified and respectable as to why people would have weight issues. Okay? So, like, I just wanted to, like, say that because that's, like, the point of this video. But, yeah, hopefully I didn't say it too late into the video. Anyways, I just wanted to say the fact that your character is at risk here is ridiculous, and I don't think that's fair. I think that that's a pretty ignorant, short-sighted perspective to have on fat people. Physical, romantic unattractiveness, that's another thing, right? Where people would be assuming so much to cast judgment in this seat, because there are hot women who like fat guys. There are hot men who like fat women. There are all sorts of attractiveness scales. That's such an objective thing. But our society leans towards lean, fit as attractive, good. and never encourages thick, big-boned, medium weight people, right? Like being a model, like a female model, they want those females models a lot of times to be like a size 6, a size 4, a size 2, and it's like, that's not even, at this point, like a lot of people like big thick ass. They don't even want a size 2, 4, or 6. That's too skinny for so many people. And then on top of that, these model agencies will want tall people, tall men, tall women. Tall men and tall women are not necessarily in high demand like these model agencies, think. Tall men might be more in demand than tall women, but tall women are definitely not in demand. They're like average in demand. Like, so I'm just saying, like, all these like stigmas, all these bad associations with weight is just ridiculous. It's all objective, right? I mean, you could easily just, as much as a reason as why someone's fat, there could be 10 legitimate reasons behind that one fact. Okay, so someone might be fat, but then there might be 10 reasons behind that are like so heartbreaking and so like demanding of empathy that you're just like, I can't ignore what is being told about this person. And that, if you saw the whole picture is what I'm saying, you would see people in a different light. You would see people more empathetically. You would see people, not as fat. Just fat. That's how a lot of people see fat people. You're just fat. It's like you're just a fat loser. It's like, okay, no, you're a fat winner, right? And you can win even harder than you are now. Maybe that would be like a healthy way to look at it if someone was like even trying to lose weight and wanted to lose their weight. Now, there is a conversation to have. Let me get back up in here. There is a conversation to have about health, okay? And so when there's people like Tessa Holiday, I think, or I don't know her name, but Tessa something, she was on the cover of Sports Magazine, and she was real big, or Lizzo. Lizzo's like pretty but big and like posts stuff about this. It's like, okay, there's definitely a conversation about health. So if Lizzo is super healthy and her doctors are saying her like cholesterol is fine, her blood pressure's fine, all of that, which they very well could be. I'm not making assumptions on any of this. Then I would say Lizzo's fine. Just keep doing you. But if she's not healthy, that's what matters, right? So make sure you're healthy, like for yourself. I think a lot of people miss this. It's like other people think when somebody tells you to be healthy, they're telling that to you for them. And there's probably cocky narcissists all the time who are doing that. But a lot of times when somebody is encouraging health, they're really just encouraging the health for your benefit, not mine. I don't give a shit, you know what I mean? But I guess I do in a way, because I'm like, look, you got to focus on your health, guys. So, yes, there's a conversation about health. There's a conversation about laziness even. If you want to get in a very specific person's mind and situation, that could be a factor. But it's definitely not like a factor that you need to assume about anyone. It's not a factor that is required to be fat. It's not a factor that is always involved with fat people. So these are just broad assumptions, general assumptions people in our society make because, quite frankly, our public education system is pretty much a joke, and who the fuck can afford private school, right? So, with all this being said, I think the conclusion that I'm trying to help people come to today is that fat people are equal to you. Everybody's equal. So I'm a Christian. I believe, everybody's made in God's image. So, everybody has some reason to be respected. Everybody has a struggle. Everybody has a story, And when you're really empathetic about these things and situations, you start to understand, oh, maybe I don't understand everything like I thought I did, right? Oh, maybe this is this way because of 10 other reasons I've never even been educated on. And all the reasons I thought it was this way were just complete bullshit, just hurting every part of this narrative. Very possible, So I hope I changed some people's minds about being fat phobic, just hating fat people. And I also hope I could shed some light on, the difference between being overweight and unhealthy and promoting that, and being overweight and being healthy and promoting that. What is overweight? That's why I said that. It's like, I understand there's a BMI, but a lot of people have knocked the BMI. Years and years and years of, I've heard tons of people saying, doctors and people like that saying, the BMI is not that accurate. It's not that good of a resource to really go by. So it's like, you know, I don't know the best resource, maybe body fat percentage, maybe like a super specific thing, blood test. I don't know what you could do to get a super accurate depiction. But what I just want y'all to understand is here in America, being fat is like a big deal. And you're like seen as a piece of shit, right? Because you're like in the land of opportunity, right? Where everything is, you're in one of the best countries, right? And then you're so fat in that country. But it's like, we're kind of getting into some stuff. But I'm just saying, I think fatness is not a disease. I don't think these people deserve to be judged. I'm fat. I don't want to be judged. I want dates. I want to be socially accepted. I want friends. I mean, what the hell kind of world are we living in, right? Like, it's just the fat judgment has gotten so ridiculous, and it's always been acceptable to make fun of fat people. That's one of the things that I'm hoping to change with this video for real in our society, is to put a dent into that mindset of, oh, you're so fat, you're so fucking fat, you're so lazy and fat, you're so gross and fat. Like, I just want to knock all that shit off its pedestal and replace it with, like, a basic understanding and, like, healthier conversations, you know? So, like, if you're worried about somebody in your life or whatever because of their weight, you could approach them and say, yo, or, hey, however you approach motherfuckers, and be like, yo, I am worried about your health, you know? But to just go after someone's fat, it's like you're literally going after a part of them that they can't even, like, control half the time, or if not more. So, you know, congratulations to all them skinny boys who got a super fast metabolism. But that's not everybody, and that's fine that it's not everybody. Can we change how we see this as a culture, as a society? Please. Thank you. Okay? Like, subscribe, Andrew for life. That's the end of my rant. Yeah, just being fat in America really sucks sometimes. Okay, have a good one. Love y'all. Peace.